Hey friends, welcome back to Between the Sundays, where each week we take a look back at the past Sunday's sermon, talk about its major themes, and try to connect those themes back to everyday life. It's a chance for us to keep this conversation going. Thanks for joining us.
Hi friends, welcome back to Between the Sundays. We're glad you're here with us. And we're going to talk about last Sunday.
Last Sunday.
You preached. And you covered Lamentations 5.
Final chapter.
Final chapter. So what were you hoping from the whole series? When you instigated this, what were you hoping for?
Well, it wasn't me so much. I think as we mentioned maybe in a previous episode, it really came from someone in the community who said, I wish there was a place where I could just grieve and be sad, and I wish Scripture spoke to that. Mm-hmm. And I said, I think there's a whole book about it, and so that was it, because I've never read the full book of Lamentations.
Yeah, me neither.
I've done no study or research on it, so I had no expectations other than, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I told someone on Sunday, I've really fallen in love with the Book of Lamentations. I think it's great.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, that you thought it was a really fun series because you like to gauge people's reactions, and because you're learning through the process of preaching about it.
I think that's the big piece is, I don't know, when we stand up in the pulpit, it makes it seem like we're these experts on whatever scripture's being read, and
we are not.
We're not.
No.
There's a lot of learning that happens from Sunday to Sunday, between the Sundays, you might say.
Oh. I like how you segue that in.
Brand awareness is very important. So yeah, the learning part is a really cool aspect of preaching.
So what were some new insights that you gained about this book?
Yeah. Well, I think as we mentioned week 1, how Jeremiah writes it in an acrostic form. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really nerdy thing that it gets lost from the English translation, because it just doesn't parallel to the Hebrew alphabet. So that's a real nerdy thing that most people wouldn't immediately catch reading through the text. The other thing that I've really enjoyed was, and I mentioned this on Sunday, Jeremiah's use of language and his changing pronouns through all the chapters. Mm-hmm. How he starts talking about Jerusalem as she and her, and then shifts in chapter 2 to blaming God with this you language, kind of pointing above, and then in 3 and 4 he talks about his experience and I and me, and chapter 5 finishes off with this communal language of we and us, and it's this development of grief through those 5 chapters, and how that just kind of the circles expand as he goes on.
Yeah, you really do. You see that progression in him in each chapter, just based on the pronouns, which is pretty nerdy and pretty cool.
Super nerdy.
So this week you absolutely took Jeremiah to task.
Yeah.
You ripped him apart.
Yeah.
And you felt like all he did was sit around on his ash heap and complain. Mm-hmm. So what do you say to people who feel absolutely paralyzed to do anything to make change happen?
Yeah, and I took Jeremiah to task because my inclination in when bad things happen, what is my role? How can I actively participate in making things better? It stems from my childhood. My dad used to have this phrase, and as a pharmacist, I think this came naturally to him, if you can help, you help. Mm-hmm. And so if that's someone with a flat tire on the side of the road, name your example, you find a way to help. And so Jeremiah's lack of just wanting to jump in there and bandage the wounds and feed the hungry and hug the orphans, and instead he just wants to complain is so counter to how I view the world and like our responsibility in it. And the Amos Oz quote that I mentioned in the sermon about like if you got a glass of water, you throw it on the fire. If you got a bucket, if you got a teaspoon, everybody has a teaspoon. So do it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point I was trying to make, and it may not have come across only in my own head. But like for those who feel paralyzed to do anything, maybe that teaspoon of water for you is just voicing the grief and giving a face to the pain, so that other people who may be more capable and prone to want to jump in and fight the fire can hear that and be caused to their own form of action.
Yeah. And so it seemed to me that, beginning of your sermon, you really were ripping into Jeremiah. At the end of it, you did see kind of his complaining as a process that can lead to change. So it sounds to me like that's how you also process making change happen. Do you start like Jeremiah did with complaining and kvetching and oh God, and then move on to doing something? How do you process something like that?
Like me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
No, because I like to complain.
Really good at it.
Well, thank you. Like it feels good to complain inside, but like it doesn't get anything done.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in previous episodes. So I think that's where I start, is just like, oh man, that sucks. But also knowing complaining doesn't always solve the problem.
Yeah.
So my next step is like, okay, what's the one thing I can do to help solve the problem? Where's the opportunity in this? Where's my place? So I think that's my process. And maybe too often, like, I just jump into it and start solving problems that I think are the problem that really aren't that helpful.
Well, so maybe it's the complaining part that helps us recognize, okay, what is the real problem here? And what is my role? So maybe it's the complaining that gives you a little bit of space and time to figure all that out. If you're the person who can go in and fix it, or if you're the person who needs to go to somebody who can fix it.
Yeah. And I want us to be really clear, like lament and complaint are different things, right? If Jeremiah would have sat on the hill and complained, and he had rye bread to eat instead of wheat bread, like that's a complaint. There are people down below you who literally have nothing to eat. That is a complaint.
Yeah.
The lament is everything is on fire.
Yeah.
There is death all around us. It feels like God has completely abandoned God's people. That is a lament.
Yeah.
So I think the lament is really the place to start. That then can provide a call to action and ultimately a call for hope.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And it seems to me that Lamentations also points out that it can't just be us by ourselves.
Yeah.
That we don't have what it takes to do all these big things. And so we really do, Jeremiah, even as he's lamenting to God, is lamenting to God, expecting God to do something. So there's always, I think, that element of God intervening where we can't, maybe.
Yeah. And I think the other piece of Lamentations that I love is God doesn't show up.
Not in the book. He sure doesn't.
No. God offers no response to any cry that Jeremiah makes. And it's such a countercultural story.
Yeah.
because we want chapter 5 to kind of tie this up really nicely. And God comes in and wipes every tear from their eye and provides this feast and rebuilds the city, and they all lived happily ever after. And it doesn't. It ends with a prayer. Jeremiah prays, please give us days, new days, like days of old.
Yeah.
Period. End of the chapter, or end of the book. And that's it. There's no clean resolution to it, which feels very real.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing about the book of Lamentations. It's not pretty, but it is real.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's faithful. I mean, the fact that, Jeremiah ends the book with his own prayer, sometimes that's all we have left. Mm-hmm. That's all we have left. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And the language of the give us new days, he recognizes that he is not alone in it.
Yeah.
And so there's hope in that. I think there is comfort in that.
Yeah.
And like I said in the sermon, it's almost as if his shift in language brings more people to him. And so he's not the only one sitting on top of the rubble pile, but now there are hundreds of others who sit with him.
Yeah. And
there's some solidarity in that.
I love that. And maybe it's with other people in that communal, that community, that's where the hope really rises up.
Yeah.
So we're
absolutely
not alone in it. Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Well, thank you, Carol. It's been fun.
It has been fun. Thank you all. See you again.